Vlogmas day 4. Yes, it's Vlogmas. It feels more like fall here because it's not as cold and definitely no snow as where we live. But it's wet. We are standing on the beach right now because you have to get to the beach when you're on an island. We left the apartment this morning and went to a rec centre where we had a swim and a soak in a hot tub. And then we stopped at a little store called Pepper's, which is probably overpriced, but it's kind of cute, and got a few staples for our food for the week. And now we're just revisiting this beach, which we came to with the kids a long time ago. So I'm hoping you can hear me because I left my microphone in the car. I'll turn this around and you can listen to waves for a minute. I don't know if there's really much to show you today. When we went out this morning, we just went to the Oak Bay Rec Centre and we had a swim and a soak in the hot tub. So that was nice because it's basically been raining all day. So that was a good thing to do indoors. After we did that, we popped back to the condo, and then we went for a very short walk over to Green Cuisine and had an awesome lunch again. And because that wasn't enough, we popped into the little cafe part on the side, which is new since we were last here, and we had a cup of coffee as well. So we spent some time back at the apartment this afternoon, and I did a little bit more on the embroidery. Oh, I added some of the light blue. I don't even know if you can see the light blue on there. It's so pale. So that was challenging, but that's why I started with the darker colours first, to give me a better idea where everything went. So I'll add some more to that afterwards. And while we were sitting here this afternoon, my husband had the idea to go to the Parliament buildings, Government House, to have a tour. We decided to go for the 4 o'clock tour, and brave souls that we are, we walked. It takes about 20 minutes to walk from where we are. And so we got a little damp, but we got there on time, and the other option would have been to drive and to find somewhere to park. So to be honest, it was probably easier to walk. But yeah, it was bucketing it down. So it was fascinating. In a way, I wish we had done that when the kids were small, because I think it would have been interesting to have them see it a long time ago. It's an impressive building, and we got to see into the chamber where all of the politicians sit and debate / argue. Victoria is the capital of BC, and so this is where the government sits. And we learnt quite a lot. I did try and get a little bit of footage. We were allowed to photograph and video things, but you don't really get quite the effect on a video that you do in person. The rotunda, when you look up at the rotunda, it's way above your head. And he said it was, the tour guide said it was about 160 feet above ground level. And when we were standing looking up at it, we were on the first floor or second floor, depending when you live. We were upstairs one level. What the British would call first floor, the Americans would call second floor. And of course, I had to be the awkward one that said, so how do you change the light bulbs up in the dome? And he gave us a very long-winded explanation of how you can actually get up there. And it sounded terrifying because you have to wiggle through 2 layers of the domed roof to get the light bulbs changed in the top. It would have been cool to be able to actually go into the chamber and sit in an actual seat that you know, the politicians sit in when they're in session. But we weren't allowed to do that. There was a gate across. Then we walked back and we got even more soggy. So right now the coats are drip drying on the hooks, and we've changed into drier clothes, and I microwaved my cup of tea from earlier that I didn't have time to finish. And we're in for the evening. I think I will do a little bit more embroidery and a little bit more crochet. I thought I'd finish up today's Vlogmas with a slightly different background. And I have to say I didn't get to the crochet because I am really addicted to this cross stitch. I'm enjoying it so much. I find that I don't really do this often. Like a lot of the things I make, I think most of the things I make have a practical component. They have a use. Either it's something I can wear or something I can use in my daily life. Cross stitch, completely decorative, isn't it? I mean, it's just completely decorative. Once you've finished, okay, I suppose you could probably make something out of a large piece of cross stitch, like a cushion or something. But something like this, it's just going to go on the wall. But hey, even that has its use in a way, because it makes your surroundings look nice. And of course, What's the saying? Don't have anything in your house that isn't useful or beautiful. I did Marie Kondo my closet once. I must say it wasn't a bad thing, and I do a closet review every 6 months, which is a really good idea. And I do go through my contents of my sewing room on a regular basis too, because if ever you bring in anything new, it's a good thing to see. It's a good idea, I think, to see if you can pass something on. So if something comes in, maybe send something out to the thrift store or something like that, so that you're not just drowning in stuff. Because I find if you have too much stuff, it can be stressful. I don't know about you. Do you find that? Leave a comment under the video if you want to contribute to that discussion, because some people can have a lot of stuff without it stressing them out. And some people can have like 55 whips or works in progress without it stressing them out. But if I have too much unfinished stuff hanging around, if I have too many works in progress on the go, I find it feels like too much pressure. If my yarn stash was too large, I would feel pressure. I have enough yarn that I could knit and crochet for some time without having to buy more to continue making stuff. But it's manageable. It's not SABLE. Have you heard that acronym? It's Stash Acquisition Beyond a Life Expectancy. I'm definitely not at that point. So as long as all my fabric and yarn are neatly stashed in my sewing room, and I'm not falling over it, and it's not falling off the shelves, and it's not stressing me out, then it's a good size for me. How did I get onto this topic? I can't remember. Oh yes, I was talking about my cross stitch. But yes, I'm enjoying this so much. I've got to be careful though. I find when I'm gripping the hoop constantly for some time, I get a pain right here. And I noticed that from the first day I started to work on this. So I have to be careful because it's a new muscle that I'm using there. I also have to be careful not to hunch over the work as well, because it's such close work, especially with the little crosses being so tiny, that I have to be careful not to, seize up. We've been doing a lot more walking this week than we used to, which is really good actually, because I need the exercise. We did over 6,000 today, which felt like a very short amount of exercise, or a small amount of exercise, because the previous 2 days we did 10 or 12,000. But we're eating really well and we need to keep moving. This is the Christmas season, and I always find that it's a dangerous time because it's too easy to put on a few pounds which then don't go off again after Christmas. I'll show you how far I've got with this. It's really looking odd right now, but so here's the little dog's head. Here's the little dog's head. He still needs a black nose right here. This is his little green ear, and this is his little hat. And I've done the pom-pom on the hat and the tail. There's going to be a thin black line of outlining around everything at the end. And so this is the beginning of the body. So this top part is done. There was a couple of places where I had missed some spots on the pattern or on the chart where you're outlining with black. It's covering up a couple of the symbols for the crosses, which was really weird. But anyway, These two little blue things over here, they were in the wrong place. When I started to fill in with the white, I realized that these two little black crosses here were actually one space too far over to the right. So I had to cut them out and redo them in the right place. That's the tricky thing. Once you start counting across and down, you don't always get your crosses in the right place. And sometimes you don't find out until later on, and then you have to get your sharp little embroidery scissors out and fix it. It's going to be super tiny, this, but that's okay. I have a strong feeling that by the time I finish this, I might be wanting to buy another cross-stitch kit. So do let me know in the comments what you're working on, what you're making, what you're doing at this time of the year, whether you celebrate Christmas and you like baking, or you like sewing or making gifts. What are you making? And how are you brightening up this December? If you live in the Northern Hemisphere, it can be pretty dark and gloomy in some places. It can be a little bit depressing with the short days. Personally, I love this time of the year. I love it when it's cold and dark outside. I love to put the Christmas lights up, and I love to get my blankets out and hunkering down on a long winter's evening with something crafty and a crochet blanket over my legs, and maybe something to watch on Netflix or listening to an audiobook. This is another new thing I'm finding I'm enjoying now, is listening to a good audiobook. As long as I like the narrator's voice. Now that's the important thing. But I'm in heaven. So I hope you're enjoying this time of the year. As I said, leave me some comments about what you like to do and how you like to enjoy your December days and evenings, because I'd really like to know. So that's the end of today's Vlogmas, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.